we're starting off today. Welcome. Thank God it's Friday, 5:05 p.m. That's what the time is. And I'm wondering where it is you're listening to me from today, because I have people calling from different parts of Nigeria. And I'm looking forward to someone who would call me from anywhere else outside of Nigeria and say, I'm listening to you from, give me a country, give me a name, maybe Ghana. Speaking of Ghana, though, what's happening on the pitch? I'm not understanding. So they're playing against Uruguay, and it's 2-0 already, first half. And the emotions are... They're playing with my emotions. I don't like people playing with my emotions at all. I don't like it at all. They're supposed to be doing us proud, like Senegal. And which other country was it? Was it Mexico? No, Mexico is not in Africa now. But that other African country that has been doing us proud. It's the World Cup I'm talking about. Like, really, man? Ghana, what is going on? What is going on? Stakes are high, please. You guys should. I don't know what you're going to do, but we need better than what we're seeing right now. We do. So, making reference to about 10 years ago, what happened between the same Ghana and the same Uruguay that are playing against each other. Someone was giving me a lowdown earlier, and I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So there may just be some psychological defeat already going on, because 10 years ago, or 12 years ago, I think it was 12 years ago, that was in 2010, so that would be 12 years ago when they were playing against each other, and stuff went down on the pitch. There was supposed to be a penalty kick that was missed, and that was how Ghana lost to Uruguay. So there seemed to be this thing about some psychological defeat going on, but I'm really praying for Ghana that somehow they are back up and then things just pick up, because man, what we're seeing right now is not what we bargained for at all. I don't know what you bargained for, because I've been rooting for Africa. If you've been following me on this show, that's Super Citizen at Sunset, you would know where my emotions lie. Anyway, I'm right here. I'll be, watching. And I think they're coming back from the first half already. So, yeah, don't worry. Me, updates. I'm all about updates, man. I may not give you all the detail. I may not call off the names, who scored goals and what. That would be captured in the news bulletin. But I'll be sure to give you updates and say, hey, okay, so this has happened, that has happened. So stay with me, all right? Stay with me. Well, I'm Super Citizen at Sunset. That's what the show is right now. So I want to welcome you officially once again. I just enjoy knowing that you're tuning and listening. December 2 it is. So, it was just 24 hours ago I was here. Excited, telling you Happy New Month and everything. But here we are. It's another day. So, what is it you needed to do for the month? Is it playing out well yet? Is it taking shape? Otherwise, maybe you need to, sit down and recalculate, re-strategize and see how. So you know what? We still have a few days until the end of the year. So let's stay positive. Let's stay positive. I know this is not the very easiest of times right now. Economy, socially, psychologically. People are just going through a lot right now. Mental health is something that should be taken more seriously. I'm telling you, because I've been having conversations with people, and people are not feeling the way that they used to feel. I know maturity, these things come with age. The more responsibilities you have to carry, the more you may need to begin to have a lot much more to think about than you used to. But again, the indices are just on the rise. So you need to take it easy on yourself. I know that these are not like the easiest of times, but calm down. Calm down. Things will be fine, all right? Re-strategize and go again. Okay, 5:09. I think that's much of an intro. So on the show tonight, what are we expecting? It's going to be a packed show, as always. It's a Friday, so it's going to be Friday edition between now and 5:30. I'll be telling you what has happened, around the world in the last couple of hours, or even a few years, or even several years ago, or even hundreds years ago. Yes, yeah, I go that far back. So today, International Days today we'll be looking at, and of course, today in history. And so you can be part of the show at any point in time. The phone lines are going to be open from the beginning until the end of the show, so stay with me, all right? Yes, I'm going to be reeling out some of the things. First of all, let me just give you this one before I forget. I know it's not possible that I forget, but I think I'm just itchy. I just really want to tell you what it is today. So, did you know that it was on this day in history that Mary Slessor was born in Aberdeen in 1848. That's what I meant by saying, when I said I go way back sometimes, hundreds of years. So I'll be telling you more about that. She played a very, very, very important role in the history of Nigeria. Some decisions, some things that, stopped in Nigeria. She was really one of the major reasons why. Calabar, killing of twins, that conversation. You know anything about it? Stay with me. I'll bring you all of that information. Then at 5:30, we'll be taking a trip around the world. On the international scene, Putin and Joe Biden. So maybe there may be a conversation, maybe or not. Terms and conditions apply. Biden is putting forth his, terms, saying that he is only open for conversations if Biden is willing, if Putin, Vladimir Putin, is ready to, stop the war. That is if not, we don't know what's going to happen. Speaking of Ukraine, though, there's been this thing, I don't understand. They're getting reports of how that their embassies at different countries are getting letters and parts of animals. Yeah, like eyes. You just put an eye of an animal inside an envelope and sent to the embassy, and then whoever unwraps it, opens the envelope, just meets with an eye. It's eerie, right? It's really excellent. Anyway, we'll be talking all about that. There's also news from South Africa. Sudan as well is captured today. DR Congo. So stay with me. I got you covered. So news from around the world, around Africa and Nigeria. Speaking of Nigeria, it's a great time to congratulate former president, Goodluck Jonathan. Yes, he's been appointed Africa's ambassador for agricultural technology by the African Agricultural Technology Foundation. Yeah. That happened today. This man is just doing things after he stopped being president of Nigeria. It's just like floodgates open. You know how they say, open the floodgates in abundance. It's just been appointments here and there, being ambassador for this and that. The grace is overflowing. But don't worry, more information coming your way between 5:30 and 6 p.m. All right? And between 6 o'clock, of course, 6 o'clock, the news on comprehensive news bulletin of Citizen FM will be coming your way. That will be from 6 until about 6:15, 6:20, thereabouts. And more information, yeah. So stay with me. 5:30, there's always a surprise for us every Friday, 5:30. It's going to be anything. Could be anything. But of course, we're going to be having lots of music in between, all right? Because it's a Friday. It's a good time to let your hair down. It is International Day for the Abolition of Slavery. Yesterday, if you followed my show, that's Super Citizen at Sunset, I had a conversation with someone because it was World AIDS Day. We talked, and of course, we're still within the period of the 16 days of activism, right? So we talked about World AIDS Day yesterday. We also talked about 16 days of activism. Well, just in line with that, we have International Day for Abolition of Slavery today. Yeah, it's celebrated every single year on the 2nd of December. And it's about insisting that modern slavery should stop because it does exist in the society. It could be different shapes. It could take different forms, People think, it's about having people bound in chains, cross the oceans, and sing very sad songs as they transport them from one point to another. Well, that one has been abolished, but there is still the modern day slavery that is still going on, and that's the one that voices are very loud about, saying that, hey, this has to stop. So, on this day in 1949, the General Assembly of the UN adopted the Convention for the Suppression of the Traffic in Persons and the Exploitation of People. This day is dedicated to ending modern forms of slavery. We talk about sexual exploitations, we talk about human trafficking, the most heinous kinds of child labor. We've been hearing stories from across Nigeria, how some people have really tortured their mates, some even to the point of losing their lives. These are the things we're talking about. We also want to open the book on forced marriage. That shouldn't be a thing anymore. It's a form of slavery. Are you aware? It is. The forced recruitment of children for use in armed conflict. That's a thing. It's quite popular in some African countries with child soldiers and all of those. Some people have been tried and even been sentenced to jail for getting involved in things like that. So today is the day where we raise more awareness and reinforce global efforts in stopping the scourge of modern slavery. So basically, government, organizations, individuals, media, just as I'm doing right here, we talk about it, we mention it, we reinforce it, we reiterate it, and ensure that more people get to hear it. It's not just about December 2 every single year. We ensure that it is a part of you. You know, you see something, you say something. It doesn't have to be you who's doing it. If you see something that is really out of place, you know, especially when it comes to this child labor thing, I think it's a thing that needs really enormous amounts of attention across Nigeria, because what the stories we're seeing, somebody will look at a child, an underage child, and just bathe them in hot water because they did not do what? Scrub the pot very well. Or you decide to not feed somebody who you're responsible for. You just let them go days without food. What? Or the story we heard from North Central Nigeria, one of the states, how that the husband locked his wife up for over a year or some years and hardly fed her anything. She got rescued though. Her mother eventually rescued her, but we eventually heard of her death. Those are the kind of things that we don't want. So December 2 is the day that we raise our voices against such actions. Few more days and then we look at today in history we're looking at international days today already. So I talked about International Day for the abolition of slavery. You see, let me say that last one before I round it off on that thing, because this is a topic that is very, very close to my heart. The thing is, right, slavery, if you look at it holistically, it does benefit the world's economy, but guess what? It is at the cost of our humanity. That needs to stop. Okay, enough about that. Business of popping corn day. Are you in the business? You like to see the movies, or maybe you're at home. I would love it. I just imagine the smell of popcorn, buttery tasting, the crunchy snack that I love. I would have loved to say that we all love, but I have some weirdos in my life that don't eat popcorn. So I'm like, how do you not eat popcorn? Anyway, so it's for people who are in the business of popcorn today. We see you. We appreciate you for making life easy and for making some movies easier to sit through. I mean, we need to appreciate popcorn a lot, because if not for popcorn, some movies you will not be able to sit through. I know. Yes, okay. Bartender Day it is as well. They've been around, bartenders. So this is just saying hello. Kudos to you for your mixings, your mocktails and cocktails and everything that you do. Kudos. Okay, International Sweater Festival. You cannot deny that the fashion staple is, making a comeback of some sort. People are going back there. But again, I dare to think that it maybe never left. This idea of having your shirt on, buttoned all the way up, and then have a pullover sweater on it. That's the thing. That's the thing. So some people take it very seriously. I know some CEOs that's the only way they like to dress. Whatever rocks your boat, man. Whatever rocks your boat. Do you know December 2 is also World Computer Literacy Day? Yes, across the world, World Computer Literacy Day. So the idea is to honor the companies, actually the NIIT, which was instituted in 2001. It was actually an idea to, honor the company's anniversary and as a way to increase computer literacy among people, especially women and children. So computers have become commonplace in our futuristic world, but a lot of people don't really know how to use it yet. So if you've never really, if you think you don't know yet, it's a good time to really reconsider what you can use. This right now, I don't have enough time and all of that. Do something about it. 5:20 p.m. That's what the time is. Citizen FM 93.7. And I am Didi. The show is Super Citizen at Sunset. And it's time to take a look at today in history. What happened on this day some years ago? Stevie Biko, he's in the news again. You know, in the last couple of months, yes, I have been reading a lot about Stevie Biko. I'm glad that a couple of people are also getting to hear about him through me here, because he's a very popular figure in South Africa. I can't talk about the South African struggle and not talk about Stevie Biko. But for some of us in West Africa, we're not very familiar with the story of Stevie Biko. We just only know him from that one line that Wyclef Jean, mentioned his name in that Diallo song, similar to Stevie Biko, Diallo, Diallo. So that's the only place we get to know about that name. But he's Africa. So on this day in 1977, the South African policemen that were linked, in the death of Stevie Biko were acquitted. Why were they acquitted? There was just a lack of sufficient evidence to nail them, and they had to be let go. But I can just imagine, right, how that felt. Again, there was a lack of evidence. Nobody could prove that they really did do it. But for people who were so sure, it would be their word against the authorities, right? It would be their words against the defendants. So that happened. It was really sad. So the people who allegedly killed Stevie Biko walked away free on this day. Britain refused to sign Uganda's request for independence in 1961 on this day. Uganda had submitted, an application or a request. Yeah, I don't want to say an application. Well, a request will do. I think that's the word. Demanding that they become a free nation, but Britain refused. They said, Nahi, you're not old enough. But I mean, how do you even... A lot happened, Sha. I'm glad I was born after independence, because no, this is not even a joke. It's not a joke at all. So they said they were not going to allow that happen. It was also associated with the effect of Amin's rule, that's Idi Amin. It's also still felt in present-day Uganda, by the way, right? So a lot happened. But that was denied. But eventually, a few years later, they were granted, independence. 1984, the Kingdom of Uganda was placed under a British protectorate. Like neighboring Kenya, Uganda, they maintained some form of self-determination as it was not placed fully under the colonial administration. But even though it wasn't very easy for them, they said no, they didn't want that anymore. But the authorities said no. But thankfully, in 1962, there were elections that were held, and Milton Obote became the Prime Minister of independent Uganda. And in 1971, Obote was ousted in a military coup by the name that you know about, Idi Amin. Oh, God, I love history. God, I enjoy history. I couldn't not like history, even if I wanted to. Yeah, so there was that coup in 1971, and people lost their lives a lot. Human rights violations were reported, general disintegration of the country. There was just a lot during the time. So now it just makes you wonder, were they right? Was the British authority right when they said they were not really ready to grant them independence? Anyway, let's see now, moving on away from that story. I'm just loving that you're learning something new right now. Anyway, let's see. Leslie Ann Brands, you know about her? She's an actress, a South African actress. She was born on this day in 1981. 36 people died in a fire in a converted warehouse in California in 2016 on this day. Right. Love 5:24 p.m. That's what the time is. I'll take a music break now. Yes, just a song. Rokia Traore. Okay, so let me tell you something about this amazing African artist that I haven't played any of the songs in a I could say like it's really it's painful for me that I hardly play Rokia Traore, but found one of the songs today, and here it is. I have to play this song right here. I'll be back bottom of the hour, 5:30, to take you around the world on what's happening right about now.
Wolofade nyokongonye otiche kabande o manache kabande bisangele mbito kongoju